The RPG streaked upward, smoke curling against the blue sky. It arced clumsily, burning out before it could touch the Seahawk helicopter circling above. The rocket spiraled, then dropped uselessly into the ocean with a splash. For a moment, the pirates cheered, raising their rifles and waving fists. They thought they'd just scared off an American helicopter. But the Seahawk kept circling, rotors hammering the air, gunner steady at his station. The pirates had no idea what kind of storm was about to rain down on them. Could rifles and one RPG really take down a U.S. Navy helicopter? How did it come to this? A handful of pirates in a wooden skiff firing into the sky, a Navy Seahawk stalking overhead like a predator. It began with a merchant vessel, a Panamax freighter, lumbering across the Gulf of Aden. Her crew was civilian, unarmed, hauling containers stacked high. Easy prey in the most dangerous waters on Earth. The Somali pirates came fast, skiffs with outboards buzzing, 10 men packed into each. They carried AK-47s slung on shoulders, belts of ammunition, even an RPG or two to scare off resistance. Their tactic was simple: swarm, fire into the air, terrify the crew into stopping. Then climb aboard, take hostages, and wait for ransom. For years, it had worked. Hundreds of ships had been taken this way, but this freighter's distress call reached the ears of the U.S. Navy. And the response wasn't a warning. It was steel and rotors. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer was patrolling nearby. When the call came in, her engines roared to life. Within minutes, her helicopter detachment was prepping for launch. The MH-60R Seahawk is the Navy's Hunter in the sky. Designed for anti-submarine warfare, it also carries the muscle for surface combat. Twin engines, radar, night vision sensors, and door-mounted guns. The M240 machine gun, sometimes upgraded to the GAU 21.50 caliber, capable of shredding a skiff in seconds. The order was clear: get the helicopter airborne, locate the pirates, stop the attack. Blades began to turn. The Seahawk lifted off the destroyer's deck, banking low over the waves, heading straight for the coordinates of the freighter. The crew on the freighter cheered when they saw the shape in the sky. For the first time, hope. But the pirates weren't running. They were too deep into the chase, too blinded by the prize they thought they'd capture. From the deck of the freighter, sailors watched in terror as pirates circled in their skiffs, weapons flashing in the sun. And then, the sound. Thwop, thwop, thwop. The unmistakable rotors of a Seahawk overhead. The pirates looked up, some froze, suddenly aware of how badly the odds had shifted. Others raised their rifles defiantly, shouting, daring the helicopter to come closer. One man leveled an RPG. His hands shook as he aimed skyward. To him, it must have felt like courage. To the Navy crew above, it looked like desperation. Pirates had just aimed an RPG at an American Seahawk. Did they really think they'd live through the next few minutes? The Seahawk banked, circling above the skiffs. The pilot's voice came cool and steady over the radio. Contact on the water. Armed, hostile intent. From the door, the gunner leaned out, visor down, finger resting near the butterfly trigger of the M240. He could see the pirates below shouting, pointing their rifles skyward. Below, the pirate leader barked orders. His men fired AKS blindly into the air. Bullets streaked upward, far short of their target. The helicopter didn't flinch. It was as if the sky itself was immune to their fire. And then, the RPG launched. Smoke, fire, a spiraling trail cutting toward the Seahawk. For a heartbeat, every eye followed it. The rocket burned out, dropped, and splashed into the ocean. The pirates screamed and cheered, convinced they had made the helicopter retreat. But the Seahawk didn't back off. It tightened its circle, rotor wash kicking spray across the waves. The gunner's shadow now looming over the skiff. The pirates had just fired their only real weapon. What did they think would happen next? The freighter's crew held their breath. They knew the Navy was close, but they also knew the pirates were still armed, still desperate. And desperate men make fatal mistakes. The Seahawk's gunner gave a short report, RPG expended. Skiffs still armed, awaiting green light. In the pirate skiff, the leader pointed his AK toward the sky again, finger tightening on the trigger. His men followed, raising rifles, shouting defiantly into the wind. The helicopter banked once more, lining up. The gunner leaned out, hand on the trigger. The order was seconds away. The Seahawk circled tighter, blades hammering the air. Salt spray whipped up from the ocean, washing over the pirate skiffs below. The gunner leaned out the side door, M240 machine gun braced, finger hovering over the trigger. The pirates had fired their RPG. They had fired their rifles. They had failed. Now they were out of time. "Permission to engage," the gunner called. The pilot's voice crackled over comms, calm and deliberate. "Hold. Keep pressure. They'll break." Below, the skiffs churned in panic. Some pirates screamed at each other, waving rifles wildly. Others tried to start pulling away from the freighter, realizing their easy prize had turned into a death trap. But one, the leader, stood tall in the bow, AK raised. He fired again into the air, a useless burst of defiance. They could fire every bullet they had. But what happens when the sky fires back? The Seahawk swooped lower. Rotor wash blasted the skiffs, knocking hats off heads, nearly tipping one of the boats. The pirates clung to their rifles, but fear was beginning to show. Their mouths shouted courage, but their eyes showed dread. Inside the helicopter, the gunner steadied. Through the scope of his M240, every detail was visible. The sweat on their faces, the trembling hands clutching rifles, the single RPG tube now empty. "Hostiles still armed," he reported. "No surrender signs." He raised his AK and fired desperately, bullets spraying wide into the air. The gunner answered with another burst. This time, the rounds shredded the bow of the skiff, splintering wood. The pirate dropped, screaming, clutching his arm. The leader shouted, gesturing wildly for the others to keep firing, but their courage was gone. One by one, rifles dropped. Hands began to rise. The Seahawk held position. The gunner kept his weapon trained, ready to cut down anyone who made the wrong move. "Command, we've got movement," the pilot called. Several dropping weapons, others still armed. Back on the destroyer, the captain weighed the report. "Copy. Keep pressure. Boarding team inbound." RHIBs splashed into the sea from the destroyer, roaring toward the freighter. Navy sailors and Marines crouched inside, weapons tight to their shoulders. Their mission? Secure the freighter, capture the pirates alive if possible. From above, the Seahawk maintained overwatch. The gunner never took his eyes off the skiffs. The pirates panicked at the sight of the fast boats closing in. Some raised their hands higher, waving white cloths in surrender. Others shouted at each other, torn between fight and flight. They could surrender to the Navy or be shredded where they floated. One pirate made the wrong choice. He grabbed the empty RPG tube, as if pretending he could reload. The gunner didn't hesitate. A burst cut across the skiff, shredding the deck, sending the tube spinning into the ocean. The pirate dropped instantly, unmoving. The others broke. Hands shot up. Weapons thrown overboard. The will to fight had collapsed. From the freighter, the civilian crew erupted in cheers. The nightmare was ending before their eyes. The Navy didn't need to destroy them all. It needed only to prove a point. And that point was burned into every surviving pirate's mind. Attack an American vessel, and you face the full weight of the United States Navy. No ransom, No escape. No mercy for those who threaten American lives. The helicopter touched back down on deck, its mission complete. The crew climbed out, sweat streaked and steady, their work done. Above them, the American flag snapped in the wind. They thought rifles could bring down a Seahawk. Instead, they found out the sky belongs to the U.S. Navy.